When I first started with Experity 10 short months ago, I had no idea the team that I was joining. I am so excited for you to get a little peek behind the curtain of these great innovators that work every single day, doing what they can to make the urgent care space that much better. So join me today on DX the podcast as we hear from the great innovators at Experity. Jonathan Moss, as you'll find him on LinkedIn, or J Moss, as we know him internally, is the Executive Vice President of Revenue Growth and Operations at Experity, where he leads go-to-market strategy, revenue operations, and implementation across the urgent care ecosystem. He brings a vast and diverse background from senior roles at companies such as Big Spring, Reef, Booster, and major telecom firms like T-Mobile and Verizon. He also acts as a thought leader in AI-powered growth and go-to-market operations, advising across sectors and hosting forums that explore how AI is transforming business models. Welcome to DX the podcast, J Moss.
Thanks for inviting me. So it's a great honor to be here with you to talk about this amazing topic in great Seattle. So.
Awesome. Well, here we are in AI House, right in the middle of some seriously exciting new tech. What's interesting about your perspective is that you sit at the intersection of go-to-market strategy and healthcare, two worlds that typically have not always moved at the same pace, right? So especially since healthcare lags behind sectors like sales, marketing, and especially when it comes to advanced tools and technology. So how do you see urgent care leaning into or learning from these faster moving industries and applying AI?
Yeah, so the great thing about it is the foundational principles haven't changed and won't change.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll give you an example. So if you think about centuries ago, Amelia Earhart flew with the same laws of physics that exist today.
Yeah.
But today we can actually fly 100 times faster.
Yeah.
Why is that? Because the systems have changed. And that's all that AI is. It's changing the systems that we have and the way that we approach it. So to give you an example of that, go to market. So the way we look at go to market is there's an end-to-end journey. There's a buyer journey, and then hopefully that turns into a customer journey. And so from the initial point of a customer trying to figure out they have a pain and a problem they want to solve, that's the awareness stage. So that touch point, they're trying to find a brand, they're trying to find a solution. And then they go through a, education stage. So can this solution that you're providing me actually solve a problem?
Yeah.
And then a selection, they select you. And then basically there's a mutual commitment there. Basically says, okay, so you have the buyer sees a solution that provides it, the solution provides, and you all have a commitment together.
Mm.
Then they become a customer. Then they onboard, you try to retain and expand. So there's this journey. Urgent care is no different.
Yeah.
You think about it, a patient, they have a problem.
Yeah.
They seek care. They're trying to find it, right? That's your initial touch point in your awareness. Then they try to educate themselves. Do you offer what I need at a time that I need it? Then they select, they book.
Mm-hmm.
And then once they're there, they have that commitment of now they're your patient as the brand. And hopefully you take care of them. You give them a great experience.
Yeah.
Then you want to retain them.
Yeah.
You want to expand with them. So you want them to come back if they have that same problem. And maybe you offer other things like sports physicals or flu shots or things of that nature that you want to expand their service offering. So it's really no different.
Yeah.
So the way to think about it is you have to map out that end-to-end journey. And as you're thinking about all of those different touch points, you
Mm-hmm.
map out the friction that exists with your internal staff. So that could be your front desk, it could be your providers, it could be your ops team, it could be whoever.
Yeah.
What are those points of friction? And then also from the experience, what are those moments that matter to the patient? What's important to them to drive a good experience?
Yeah.
Once you've mapped that, then you're ready to start thinking about how can I solve those friction points? How can I provide a better experience?
Mm-hmm.
And AI can help you in a lot of those ways. And so I don't really see it as healthcare being behind. I think AI is more of like this leapfrog technology, and you can use it today. You just have to know where to use it in the right places.
Yeah. I mean, everything you described absolutely puts the patient at the center of everything as a consumer, which is truthfully, from a clinical perspective, a very different vibe, a very different approach from what we were trained in, right? The patient is always titled the patient. And so it's been a huge transition for clinicians to even think about patients as consumers, but that's really where we need kind of the operational side to help guide us and lead us in that direction. So thinking about the journey from start to finish, they're absolutely consumers, and especially in the retail space. So a journey for all of us to go on. Yeah. So, in past conversations, we've talked about, and you've mentioned a framework that will actually help leaders across industries actually kind of pinpoint the where and how to make those meaningful investments in AI. So, you kind of talked about those friction points. What are some ways, though, that we can kind of help those that are needing to understand how to engage in these kind of AI technologies, but they might have varying degrees of comfort with AI, right? We have people that are very well versed in the use of AI, excited about it. We have people that are kind of mediocre in terms of their opinion of it. And then we have others that are completely terrified of AI. So, kind of walk us through, how do we engage all those different varying degrees of comfort and figure out ways to engage AI within our workflows and our systems?
Absolutely. So there's, obviously there's frameworks out there, and frameworks are good if you're just getting started or don't know how to do something. And the framework that I've taught is called the scale framework. And basically it breaks down to the following. And you can use this regardless of if you're, competent AI, if you're just a first starter at it, whatever it may be. And so it's called scale.
Okay.
And so the S is for strategic outcomes. And so what you're looking for in there is, before you even start with AI, what is it that you're trying to solve?
Yeah.
What outcome are you trying to, is it a business outcome? Is it a patient outcome? What is it that you're trying to do? Because if you don't have that outcome solidified,
Mhm.
basically you just have a costly experimentation, and you're going to fail up front. So what is
Yeah.
it that you're trying to solve? So in urgent care, that could be things like, I want to increase my patients. I want to, provide a better patient experience or better outcomes or whatever it is. But what is that outcome that you're looking for? The C in scale is for the ability to chart the friction. And I talked about this a little bit
Mhm.
earlier, but where are those manual processes? Where are their, siloed data? Where are there friction points in system tools that are fragmented? So
Mhm.
where are these points of friction that I need to know that, I want to look at solve? The A is aligning the capabilities and assessing readiness. And so now that you've understood where those friction points are,
Yeah.
what are the capabilities of AI or other solutions to solve those? And then, is your organization ready for it? And when you
Mhm.
think about the organizational readiness, it's people.
Yeah.
You kind of mentioned this. It's your technology and systems. Are they ready? And it's your
Right.
processes. You
Yeah.
got to have those things in order. If not, you stop there and get those in order first, because otherwise you're
It's
already
gonna
it's going to
fail.
fail.
Yeah.
The L is for launching a control. So it's like a pilot. So you want to do it in a small subset.
Mhm.
So you've got the right controls, the right measures of success, these dynamic feedback loops that allow you to understand what's going on and make adjustments.
Mhm.
And then you want to make sure that you're getting the outcome that you want. And
Mhm.
once you get that outcome, then you go to E, which is expand and evolve. And that's when you start scaling.
That's the fun part.
That's the fun part, right? And that's what we all try to get to. And then
Yeah.
that way you've got everything that you need set up, and you can continue to measure and monitor it. And so I think about it from that perspective,
Mhm.
because it's less daunting, because a lot of solutions can do that. It's not just
Yeah.
about AI, but you may figure out at the end of this that AI is not the right solution.
Sure.
There's a better solution. That's okay.
Yeah.
But going through that framework has really helped, regardless of your aptitude with AI.
Yeah, and I think that's really helpful to put it very, like, in clear and direct terms, like, here is the pathway you can follow, because it's not as simple as just turn on the technology, but it's also not as complicated as it might seem at the forefront. So it's like, follow these steps and kinda consider what direction you might go. So awesome. Well, no matter the organization, as a go to market and operations leader, you've always needed to be the champion of change. So, some of the things we've talked about, that means getting your team excited about AI, new processes, emerging technologies, helping them rally around these shifts and changes. So, what is your method to inspire and motivate people? It's hard to embrace change and help people think about change. And specifically, I'm thinking like in healthcare, we want everybody working to the level of their license. There's so much happening around people's jobs and positions and the work they're doing where they're really getting drugged down from where the level of their license truly is. So how do we help people rally, embrace change, and make these changes happen in reality?
So, such an important and great question. And I think, the first thing is, if you think about AI, it's no different than most technologies that existed. And we get these bad headlines about AI taking jobs, and people are fearful of using it.
Mhm.
And it's really, people like to stay in their comfort zone. They don't like to get outside of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
So if we kind of tease those two things apart, so the first thing is, if you think about the job displacement, if you look at history and all the technology shifts that we've went through, so if you think
Mhm.
about mainframes, PC, internet, mobile,
Mhm.
all those things, what they've done is they have displaced jobs. But what they've also done is created more jobs than they displaced. So I think the
Mhm.
first thing is not being fearful of using it. I mean, decades ago, there was a job of lamplight.
Yeah.
I mean, someone woke up every day and spent their time adding
Yeah.
lamps. And you
Yeah.
think about, was that the best use of human capability and cognitive
Right.
load and all those things? And so I take that example and you can put it into go to market, you can put it into urgent care, but ultimately where are the areas that people don't enjoy about their role,
Mhm.
that are repetitive, that take a lot of cognitive cycles or loads
Yeah.
and don't require creativity, creative thinking or any of those things. Find those areas and figure out, as we talked about some of the friction, find ways to use AI or technology to solve those.
Yeah.
What happens then? Number one, you mentioned it, you elevate the role because
Mhm.
guess what? They now have more time
Yeah.
to spend their cognitive cycles and loads on things that inspire them, things that drive more business impact or more
They're
consumer.
passionate about it. They're excited to go to work every
Exactly.
day. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's more augmented and elevating them. The second thing is, what does that do? Is it they see, okay, well, wait, you're eliminating this stuff that I don't enjoy doing. AI
Mhm.
is helping me. So I need to use AI a little bit more.
Right.
And the best way to really, get involved with AI is not like take a course or any of those things. It's changing so fast, no one can keep up with it.
Yeah.
It's really about experimenting with it in your day to day and figuring ways that are useful to you. I mean, I can tell you when I started, using it in 2022, I mean, it changes so much, but I've used it so many in more ways in my day to day,
Right.
made so much more impact. And so the way to do this to inspire change is find the low hanging fruit that people just don't enjoy doing and
Yeah.
really start tacking that with AI solutions that make sense. And that can, to your point, elevate to the license. So whether you're a provider and you're
Yeah.
eliminating inputting things into EMR, or your front desk, and you're eliminating manual data
Yeah.
entry calls. I mean, there's so many different places. Even think about outside the clinic, your ops team, your finance team.
Yeah.
So this isn't just the clinic in urgent care, it's also the business side as well. There's so many areas that you can eliminate this drag
Yeah.
and elevate people to be more strategic or more creative in what they do.
And really helping them like laser focus on what they're gifted to do, right? Your front desk and reception staff, they're people. Like they want to be around people and asking them to kind of head down, enter the data, et cetera, versus interact with the people that are coming in through the front desk. And it goes even, bigger and bolder when you look at your clinicians and giving them the opportunity to really elevate to the level of their
The
license.
last
So
thing you want when you're feeling bad as a patient is to go in and have these people behind
yeah,
barriers or just focused on a computer and not really focusing on the attention and the care that you need at the time. And that's really what everyone in healthcare is about, is like
yeah.
taking care of the patient and getting really great outcomes. And that's what we want to be able to give them more time to do.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us on DX the podcast. Can't wait to hear from you again in the future and really insightful to hear all of your insights today.
Awesome. Thank you for inviting me.
Yep. DX the podcast was born out of the idea that we are ready to diagnose the future of urgent care with the smartest leaders in the industry. Find all the other episodes on Spotify and LinkedIn to keep up with us on the journey.